because it was the only one. It was designated Studio B in 1965 when Studio A opened up right next door. Studio A, of course, is a larger space, a little bigger. When RCA's development process got underway, they needed bigger spaces for bigger production quality, and so that's why they built up Studio A right next door. That is also the place where Bob Dylan recorded his Nashville album, Nashville Skyline. If you are unfamiliar with Nashville Skyline, that is my favorite Dylan record as a Dylan fan. A lot of purists believe that that's the album where Dylan sold out on because he went electric. He played electric guitar on that album, but I think it is my favorite. It has that lovely number with Johnny Cash on it, The Girl from North Country. So if you guys are looking for a great Dylan record, I highly recommend Nashville Skyline. So let's get back to Studio B. So RCA Victor Studio B, like I said, was opened in 1957, and it was open under RCA's control until 1977. The story of Studio B actually doesn't start at Studio B because it wasn't built just yet. It starts in January of 1956. At the time, a younger Chet Atkins. Anybody familiar with Chet Atkins?
Yes.
I see some hands. I see some hands. So Chet was working and running the TRAFCO facility. TRAFCO, Television and Radio Film Commission, was running out of a glorified classroom in an old Methodist church. And that is the facility where just 2 days after turning 21, Elvis Presley would record Heartbreak Hotel at the TRAFCO facility. RCA purchased Elvis's contract from Sun Studios because RCA had the distribution that Sun did not. But we didn't have a facility to call our own. And so when Chet was promoted to head of day-to-day operations over at RCA Victor Studio, the first order of business with him and his boss, RCA executive and producer Stephen Scholl's first order of business was getting their own building. And so construction began in July of 1957 and continued into October of that same year. It was funded and built by a businessman here in Nashville, a man by the name of Dan W. Maddox. Dan Maddox built the building for about $39,000 back then, and leased it to RCA. RCA never actually owned the studio the 20 years that it worked out of there. They leased the building every year. Like I said, the cost of the building was $39,000. The initial design of the studio, according to Porter Wagner's autobiography, came from a sound engineer by the name of Bill Mittenberg. Bill Mittenberg drew the design for the studio that we are recording today on the back of an airport napkin. So from a simple airport napkin drawing all the way to the studio that we are going to record, that we are going to tour, where a lot of people recorded. It was regarded as Elvis Presley's favorite recording studio of all time. It is where Elvis would record 240 of his songs, a little, give or take a little bit more than that. Artists like Roy Orbison, the Everly Brothers, Don Gibson, Jim Reeves, Dottie West, Boots Randolph, Chet Atkins. I could literally do this all day. RCA has a number of great nicknames. Like I said, RCA Victor Studio is the original name. It also goes by Little Victor because of its small stature, but big impact that it had on the music scene. Yes, ma'am?
Did Garth Brooks ever record there?
So, Garth Brooks did not record there, as it were. Garth Brooks recorded not too far from Studio B, Music Row, the area of town. Anybody familiar with the term Music Row?
Yes.
Yeah, so Music Row is an area of town dedicated to country music production. It is to Nashville and country music what Wall Street is to financing and what Madison Avenue is to advertising. Except I think we do it with a little bit more twang, a little bit better style to it, but I might be a little biased myself. So we're going to be entering Music Row, and Music Row is the area of town where everybody's recorded. Everybody from Alan Jackson, Garth Brooks, Tim McGraw, Trisha Yearwood. A fun little trivia bit for you. Trisha Yearwood actually used to have my job.
Yeah. Really?
To get through college, Trisha Yearwood worked at the Hall of Fame, and she gave tours just like I'm doing now.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so sing.
Yeah. She's in love with the boy. Anyway, guys, you don't want to hear me sing. I couldn't carry a tune if I was holding the bucket. Couldn't carry a tune if I was holding the bucket.
She's in love with the boy.
All right, folks, we are now entering that area of town that I was talking about, Music Row. So as we get close to the studio, I'm going to lay out some rules and regulations for you. While we're inside the studio, like I said, only bottled water is allowed inside the studio, and I made sure everybody just had bottled water. If wouldn't mind, go ahead and turn your phones to airplane mode. Do not disturb. We ask you not take any phone calls or any text messages, so you're fully immersed in the tour experience. You are more than welcome to take as many photos as you would like. Photos, both flash and regular photos, are allowed, but we strictly prohibit any audio or video recording. So if you would like to record, unfortunately you can't do that in the studio. Also, please be aware of traffic. These Nashville drivers are crazy. As you get off the bus, you'll be kind of in the middle of the street, so just quickly make sure no traffic is coming. Watch out for them. They don't watch out for you, but I do, so just watch your back.